So we're on day 2, and we're looking at multiplying integers. What were integers again, Ariana?
Positive and negative whole numbers.
Positive and negative whole numbers. So all we're doing is looking at how can we multiply positive and negative whole numbers. Okay? So hopefully a refresher for the most part, except for you don't really work with negative numbers in the years past. Depending on your teacher, you may have had a sneak preview. Right? Now, going back in history and probably grade 2, you learned how to multiply, and I'm hoping your teacher just showed you that multiplying is really just a really quick way of adding. You learned how to skip count. You went 2, 4, 6, 8, right? And multiplying was just a really fast way of doing it. So multiplying is just a really fast way of repetitive adding. Repetitive adding, right? So instead of going 2, 4, 6, 8, skip counting by 2s, you can just set 2 times 4 is equal to 8, so you skip it 4 times. All right? Now, some of the parts where students sometimes struggle with is not actually doing the calculation, is with diagrams, right? How can you have a diagram to represent multiplying, right, on a number line? Okay? So if we want to show the multiplication of 2 times 3 on a number line, this is how it's going to look like, okay? The first multiplication is your quantity, right? So I'm going to show a length of positive 2. All right? Starting at 0, going all the way to 2. Right? Now, the second term that you multiply is your skip counting. How many times do we repeat this? Right? Repeat. So this gets repeated 3 times. We've got 1 arrow already shown, so we need to repeat it 2 times. 2 more times. So a length of 2 and a length of 2. Right? So that's how, on a number line, we show 2 times 3. And what's the answer of 2 times 3? 6. And you notice that it ends at 6. Right? So plus 2 times positive 3 equals 6. I'm not going to ask you to do this on tests. It kind of shows up on textbooks sometimes, so I do want to show you, right? Because sometimes they go, hey, can you match this diagram to this multiplication? It's just something you need to be able to do. Okay. Let's draw this one out. Okay. The first one, how long is our quantity? This is -5. So we're going backwards 5 units. So start at 0, we go all the way to -5. There we go. And how many arrows do we need? 2. We've already drawn 1. We draw another 1. All right? So, of the exact same length. So, of 5 long. So our answer of -5 times positive 2 is what number?
10.
Close, -10. All right. Pyro, you're about to sit up here.
What?
On your own little island because you're distracting everybody around you. This is where you come in. Your next step is in the office.
Okay.
All right?
I'll go to the office.
No. Right now you're working right here. Okay. Now, we're going to do everything mostly this way. Another model that sometimes you're asked to use is with little chips, right? So if you're asked to draw something with chips, you draw your quantity first. That's your -5. So we draw 5 little negative chips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And the +2 says we repeat this twice. So we've already drawn this once. If you want to draw it one more time, because we're repeating it 2 times. So you go another 5 here. Right? And all together, we have 10 negative chips. Okay? Not going to ask you to do too many of these. It's something you just need to be aware of. Okay. Now, if you look at the questions that we're going to do this year, it's going to be like a positive times a negative number, a negative times a negative number, those kind of things. Have you guys done that before?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Everybody's done it before?
No.
Not everyone. Okay. So the number part still works the same way you did grade 7, right? Like you have 5 times 3, what do we get? 15, right? What we need to worry about is the sign. We have a positive number and a negative number. What our final answer? Is it positive or is it negative?
Negative.
Negative. Good. I'm glad you guys remember that. For those who didn't do it last year, there are just some quick rules you need to know. So, right here is you're imagining you're multiplying 2 numbers. If both numbers are positive, your final answer is also positive. So a positive multiplied by a positive equals a positive. Okay? Now, for the next one, if you have a positive multiplying by a negative,
It's a negative.
it is a negative. Thank you. Oh, maybe I'll change colors here. Negative. Okay? And if you have a negative times a positive, Armand?
I didn't do it last year.
All right. Anybody else? Zion?
It's negative.
Negative. Thank you. Right. So notice the order doesn't matter. If you have a positive and negative, it's always going to be negative. Doesn't matter which way those numbers are. Okay. If you have 2 negatives,
Positive.
yes. Thank you. It's positive. Okay. So, to help remember, what I usually tell my students is notice if the signs are the same, it equals a positive. So positive times a positive is a positive, negative times a negative is a positive. If the signs are different, it's going to be a negative. Right? 2 signs the same, right? Then plus. If 2 signs different, then negative. Hyro, coming up here. Come sit right here. Come on up.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So for the numbers, we do it just like we did before in elementary school and in grade 7. 5 times 3, what do we got? 15. Right? 5 times 3, 15. Then you look up above to figure out the sign. Is it positive or is it negative? First one, we have a negative times a positive. Negative, thank you. Next one, positive times a negative. Negative. The order doesn't matter, right? Okay. Now, multiplication is a unique symbol. I'm not sure if unique is the right word. There's lots of ways multiplications can look like in mathematics. You can be used to having the x between two numbers. That means to multiply. If you see a dot between two numbers, that also means to multiply. Do you guys know that? Have you seen that before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of you guys? Okay, good. If you have two brackets touching each other with nothing in between, that also means to multiply. Okay? So those are different ways that multiplying can take form. Okay? All right, so we're going to quickly go through these. All right. Combining these two together, am I going to have a positive number or a negative number?
Negative.
Negative. A negative and a positive is a negative. Okay, 6 and 2. Combine that together, what do we get?
12.
12. Excellent. All right. Combining these together, two negatives, what do we get?
Positive.
Positive. If you're not sure, we're using this chart over here. That's all we're doing. Positive.
21.
Okay, and 7 times 3? 21. So this chapter we're doing without a calculator. Right? So you have a multiplication chart to help you out. Next one. Positive times positive.
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 36.
36. Thank you. Next up. Negative times a positive.
Negative.
Negative. Thank you. And 4 and 4?
16.
16.
What did that drop me?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. Yeah. Okay. Negative and a negative.
Positive.
Okay.
24.
24. Now, remember, I'm not sure if I talked with you guys about this. A positive number, I think I talked about it, doesn't need to show the plus sign. So like you could have wrote down just 24. That's completely acceptable. Or just 36. You don't need the plus sign there. Negative numbers, you need to show the sign. Positive numbers, you don't need to show that sign. Okay, now the next two have 3 numbers. Yes, Ariana.
So you multiply 4, like negative 4, by positive 2,
Yeah, so we do this multiplication first.
which would be negative 8.
So I'm going to write negative 8 underneath.
And then you times negative 8 by negative 3,
Yeah,
which gives you positive 24.
which gives you 2 negatives, which gives you positive 24, right? So in the blue there, a negative and a positive gives you a negative. And a negative and a negative gives you a positive. Okay? This is all new for you, Graceland?
Apparently.
Okay, so what I want you guys to think of, I'm hoping some of your grade 7 teachers made you look at it this way, is when we combine 2 negatives, that makes 1 positive. All right? If you look at this, doesn't matter the order of things, right? These 2 negatives are going to combine to make a single positive. You see that? And so the way I want you to think of this is when you're only multiplying, you count how many negatives there are. If you have an even amount of negatives, the answer is going to be positive. Because 2 negatives cancel out to make a positive number. If you have an odd number of negatives, the answer should be negative. Right? Because 2 will cancel out. There'll be an odd one left over. So you're looking at this one. We have, how many negatives do we have? 3, right? So that's an odd amount of negatives. So the answer should be odd. But we can use Ariana's approach. Yes?
Can I explain the question?
Yeah.
Okay. So you times -2 by -3.
Yep.
And it gives you +6.
Positive 6. Yep.
And then you times +6 by -5.
Yep.
Which is -30.
Which is positive and negative makes negative 30, right?
Yeah.
Is that fine? Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right? Awesome. All right. So now on to the back page. Okay. So this is asking you just to fill in the blanks. Okay. So we have a number times something equals 20. So first step, focus on what the number should be. 4 times something equals 20. What's that something? 4 times what? Ariana?
5. Then
5.
it would be -5.
Okay, good. That's the second part. So first focus on the number, next focus on if it's positive or negative. And Ariana saw it right away is, hey, this is a positive number. If we want this multiplication to give us a positive number, we have -4, and it has to be -5. These 2 negatives make a positive. Is that okay? Have you guys done this before? Yeah, some of you guys again? All right. Next up. Combine the numbers. 5 times 6. What do we have? Ariana?
30.
30. Next, combine the symbols. -5, -6. What do we have?
Positive.
Sorry, let me ask somebody else. We have Addison. What do you think? Positive, thank you. Or just 30. You don't have to show the plus sign. Okay. 4 times something is 32. What's that something, Addison? 8. 4 times 8 is 32. Now, is 8 positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive, right? So -4 times a positive 8 gives you a -32. Okay? Excellent. All right. So the next blank here. I know I've been doing numbers first, but let's talk about sign first this time. Is the blank going to be a negative sign or a positive number? Right? Think. Oh. Right? It is going to be a negative, right? 2 negatives cancel each other out to make a positive. Our final answers are negative here, so we need a third negative here. Okay, we need to figure out what the blank is now. Max.
The blank is -4 because
How do you know?
you multiply -2 by -3, which
Yeah.
gives you +6.
So we have +6 here.
And then you divide 18 by +6.
Yep.
-8, yeah.
Yep. -18 divided by +6, which is right thoughts, but your answer is incorrect.
It's -3.
It would be -3, not 4. So 6 times 3, right?
Yeah.
Your logic was 100% correct, just your arithmetic at the end was wrong. So -3. Excellent. Right? So that's the kind of questions you'll be asked for. And I think you guys got this, so I don't need to do more of those. Let's go straight to word problems. Okay. Everybody loves word problems, don't they? Right? So the key is to understand what the question is asking, then just figure out a formula for it. So here, Carol's bank balance at the end of summer was $2,460. They give me a number, I'm going to highlight it, I'm going to circle it, I'm going to do something. Okay, she allowed herself to spend $32 every week for 40 weeks. What was her balance at the end of the 40 weeks? Okay. So what is this question asking us? Right? It's saying, right, she had some money, she spent some money, how much did she have left over? Right? So how do we do that? Okay, how much money does she have is equal to how much money she started with minus the money she spent. Does that make sense? Right? Rowan had $100, he spent $40, he's got $60 left over, right? Yes, Rowan?
The way you solve it is 32 times 4, then say that equals 90 theoretically, then you would not minus 90 off of the big number.
Okay, yeah. So we need all this stuff, and Rowan's one step ahead. How much money did she start with? 2,460. Right? So she started off with 2,460. Now we subtract how much money she spent. Well, yes, Max.
Well, you do the 32 times 40.
Yeah, so we can't do this right away. We need to do a side calculation. So money spent, well, every week she spent $32, right? And you said 40, because times 40, but it was for 40 weeks, right? So you go 32 times 40. Can anybody do that in their head? Yes, Max?
In my head,
Or do you have the number?
I have the number.
Okay, what is it?
$1,280.
$1,280. So that's how much money she spent. Well, something like this, it's okay to pull out a calculator if you need to, right? So she spent $1,280. She had this much, 2,460. How much does she have left over? Yes, Max?
1,180.
Yeah, that's right. 1,180. Okay? So with word problems, you show your math, then you also give a statement, a little sentence. So you go, I'll change colors here. Carol has 1,180 dollars left after 40 weeks. Right. Okay. Let's do another one. I don't think we'll get to the assignment. I think we will just finish off these word problems, and whatever time we have left at the end, I'll just give you as a break, and next day we'll do the assignment. All right. I'm just looking at the time. There's about 20 minutes left in class. 25. Okay. Next question. Brad's investments lost $45 per week. Ken's investments lost $180 per week. Oh, per month. Per month. Thank you. Who lost the most money? And by how much? So we need to figure out how much money they lost. Let's do Brad first because they mentioned his name first. So Brad lost $45 a week for the entire year. So first week 45, second week another 45. So we need to know how many weeks there are in the year. 52, right? So, right? So if it was only 1 month, you go 45 times 4. But this is for the year, so we go 45 times 52, right? So we can use a calculator for something like that. 45 times 52, right? Or you can break out the.
Oh.
Whoa! I haven't done this for you guys yet. This is my calculator, right? So I use it in my higher level classes so you can sort of see exactly what buttons I push. So I have 45 times 52, and we get 2,340. Right? So that calculator, you'll be using that when you get to grade 10 or grade 11, depending on which math you guys go into. Okay, so Brad lost this much. You put a little dollar sign, this is money. Okay, now let's talk about Ken. Ken lost $180 per month. 12 months, so we have to go 180 times 12. So you go 180 times 12. We got 2,160. Okay. Who lost more money? Brad, right? How much more did he lose? How do we figure that out? Yes, is it Amber? How do we do that?
You subtract the numbers.
Yeah, we subtract the numbers. We find the difference, right? To find the difference, we subtract. So we go 2,340 minus 2,160. And we just use a calculator for that. 2,340 minus 2,160. And we get 180. Right? So we make a little statement. Say, Brad lost $180 more than Ken. Right? And unfortunately, right now, with the way the economy is going on, most families are losing money. I know my investments are down about 10%. So not very good. So I talk to your parents. The investments are not doing very well right now in general. Right. Hoping for things to turn around. Okay. Next question. Jerry lost 2 pounds every month for a year. All right. If his weight at the beginning was 176 pounds, what is his weight at the end? All right. So how do we do that? All right. Yes, Max.
We multiply, is it 6 or? We multiply 2 by 12.
Yep. So 2 times 12. And what are you calculating when you say 2 times 12, Max?
The amount of the 2 is the pounds and 12 is the month.
So we get 24. All right. Now, I want to get you to the stage where we don't just see a bunch of numbers all over the page. You have some words. So people who are looking at it can understand what calculation you're doing. So this is 24 pounds lost, right? And so LBS is the shorthand for pounds. Did everybody know that?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry?
Why is it LDS?
Oh, I just learned that actually. Let me just write this down. You know what? I was watching something and I just learned it. Sometimes with units and stuff, they want to promote some famous people, famous scientists and stuff like that. So the pounds comes from Libra, right? You know the symbol, astrology symbol for Libra, right? And it's a set of scales, right? So for the month of October, because I'm a Libra, right? And that's where it comes from the scales, which is then named after somebody else, right? And that's where pounds comes from the astrology symbol. Yeah. Neat. So he lost 24 pounds, right? What's its weight? How do we figure out its weight? Yes, Suhani. 176. Subtract, right? Remember, lost is a negative number, right? We talk about positive and negative numbers, right? Minus 24. So 176 minus 24. Can you do that in your head? Right. What's it? Thank you. Oops, not dollar sign. 152 pounds. Right? So we do a little statement. Right? Jerry weighs 152 pounds. Okay? Okay. A plane coming in for a landing loses 800 meters per minute in altitude. If the plane took 16 minutes to land, at what height was the plane when it first started its descent? Right? So every minute, the plane drops 800 meters. So in 2 minutes, it's dropped 1,600 meters. Right? 8 times 2. 3 minutes, it's dropped 2,400. Right? You can draw a little picture if it helps you. Right? So you have a plane, here's the ground, you have a plane flying. That's my horrible plane. And it's dropping downwards at 800 meters every minute. Yes, Alice?
I know the answer.
Okay, how did you come up with the answer?
I used the calculator.
Okay, but what calculation did you do?
800 times 16.
Yeah. So we just got to figure out where it started off. So for every minute, it drops 800 meters. But it took 16 minutes to drop. So we just multiply by 16. 800 times 16. All right. And what should the answer be, Alice?
12,800.
12,800. Now, with all these questions, we had units. First question here, we're talking about money, so we had a unit for dollar signs. Here we're talking about money, so we had a dollar sign unit. Here we're talking about weight. We had pounds. What should the units for this 12,800 be? M, right? We're talking about meters, distance, right? So meters. So we can say, give a little sentence. The plane was at 12,800 meters. And that's it. All right.